Lesson 11, Inflection and Pitch Range. To work on effective inflection, it is important to understand the pitch. This is the highness or lowness of the voice. I take time to talk naturally and record my voice. I will start to hear for myself what the pitch is. Inflection is the melody of speech. When I hear someone using a variety of notes in their voice, it produces a musical and highly enjoyable quality. There are 3 types of inflection. 1. An upward inflection, used when asking questions. Is the sky really blue? It can indicate incompleteness. There is no definite ending. 2. A downward inflection, often used for a definite statement. I refuse to go. 3. A mixture called circumflex. Do you really think I would answer that type of question? Inflection helps to carry the message clearly to the other person. I notice how varying the melody of my presentation creates more enjoyment for the listener. It enhances the words I use. The normal voice has a pitch range of almost 2 octaves. In the musical scale, 1 octave is made up of 8 notes. A singer works at broadening their pitch range, and this is also necessary for the announcer. Pitch variations keep the announcer's delivery alive and interesting. I work toward developing the most effective and desirable pitch. When pitch is too high or too low, it can strain the vocal cords, it can sound husky or shrill. Speech may be monotone. I can change the pitch of my voice by changing the amount of tension on the vocal cords, much the same as with a string instrument. Ear training is the most important factor. I must think of the change in pitch before I make it. The rest takes place automatically. I can make a test to determine my pitch level with the scale on a pitch pipe or a piano. I can read and record a short script out loud in a conversational way and listen for the notes that I hear most often in my speech. To make this demonstration as clear as possible, I'll deliberately assume a pitch level somewhat higher than my own best pitch and pretend that it represents my habitual pitch, the one I use most in everyday conversation. The natural pitch of my voice is determined by the length of my vocal cords. Men's voices are lower than women's because their vocal cords are considerably longer. It is actually possible to broaden the range of pitch by working on the extreme end of my range of high or low. I always remember while I am working on pitch that I am gentle and careful with my vocal equipment. The note of pitch that seemed to be most predominant throughout my reading was this one, hum note. That's the note that showed up the most often. The optimum pitch is when the voice sounds its fullest and best. A quick way to find the optimum pitch is to hold my ears and close off the sound and hum up and down the musical scale. The note that sounds the strongest and fullest in my head is the optimum pitch. There are other methods of finding the optimum pitch. Another good way is to hum up the scale as high as I can and then down the scale to the lowest note. The best pitch is a little lower than the mid-range. I practice the development of pitch optimization. There are several ways to do this. It is a matter of ear training and thinking of the pitch level as I use it. I do lots of humming with my best pitch level. I practice scripts in a monotone with optimum pitch. This country will prosper when business prospers. This country will meet its obligations, its financial obligations and fiscal responsibilities when business is doing well. Business will do well, and we will have full employment when we feel that there's a chance to make a profit. The idea is to use my optimum pitch as a base. This will enable me to move comfortably up and down the pitch range from that base. Pitch changes creates variety and heightened interest in what we say. Let's read that last paragraph again using normal changes of pitch. With normal pitch variations, this country will prosper when business prospers. This country will meet its obligations, its financial obligations and fiscal responsibilities when business is doing well. Business will do well, and we will have full employment when we feel that there's a chance to make a profit. The trained speaking voice glides easily up and down the scale. As with inflection and intonation, children's stories can be wonderful vehicles for practicing the use of a wide range of pitch. Pitch has a tremendous bearing on the mood and interpretation of what we say. It helps to stress some ideas and to minimize others. Good pitch variation gets increased attention from our listener and heightens his interest in what we're saying. It adds overall variety to our speech and helps keep it alive and interesting. Practice speaking in a high, then medium and low pitch. Da 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 la 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 na 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 ra 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 ta ta ta. Count from 1 to 10 in high, medium, and low pitch. Lesson 12. The art of phrasing. Sensitivity to phrasing what I am saying is critical in order to get the message across. Phrasing knows when to take a breath and when to pause. This will turn my presentation from a mix of disconnected messages into something people find interesting to hear. In order to learn the art of phrasing, I take time every day to read something and to think about the breakdown of ideas and present them one at a time. When we talk, we naturally phrase our thoughts. In our everyday conversation, most of us have very little trouble with phrasing or talking in groups of ideas. We think something and we say it. We may hesitate or pause while we collect our thoughts. But once we have clarified the idea of what we want to say in our minds, we generally find it fairly easy to communicate that idea to others. For some strange reason, it's more difficult when the words are written down. Often it seems that the paper has mastered the speaker, instead of the speaker treating the words on paper as symbols of thought. Countless times I've seen radio directors take the script away from a beginning actor and ask him to repeat the idea behind a line in the script. After focusing his mind subjectively on what he was saying and concentrating on the ideas rather than the words, the neophyte would almost always present the thought in a natural way. But all too often, as soon as the script was back in their hand, they began reading words again rather than interpreting ideas. Find the ideas in the script and present them one at a time, stating the key message with emphasis. As a demonstration of what not to do, let's read our sample script the wrong way. I'll forget about ideas and pause anywhere at all. With this kind of phrasing or idea grouping, a speaker would sound ridiculous. More important, nobody would know what he was talking about. Let's take the same paragraph and read it for ideas. The rules about phrasing or idea grouping vary with the individual. Some speakers will separate every single idea in a text and still be effective. Others will deliver longer groups of thought with fewer pauses. In broad terms, common sense will decide the preferred way to phrase almost any thought. Now, about formal punctuation. These literary symbols are intended as a guide to the reading eye. When it comes to vocal expression, I can throw away the rule book. As I can see, I will subdivide the text into the separate ideas so they make sense and sounds logical. The important thing is that I group the words into ideas and make sure they're understandable to the listener.